Hi there, this is Tata, and welcome to the Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Saturday, January 27, 2024, and tonight I'll be talking about the Royal Rumble, but I'm not alone. Joining me for this is none other than the host, the runs the West Coast, Hollywood, Michael Chow.
Hello, I'm back. It's been a long
Better
time.
than ever.
Oh, you were so nice. Yes. Sorry, I'm not as hype as I usually am on your show, but the Royal Rumble we just saw got kind of tired. Didn't keep me up. So yeah, excuse me.
I will say it's definitely there was levels of excitement for this tonight's show, and it didn't go as planned.
That's up to them. That's up to them. I don't know what did go planned, but there was a lot of hype surrounding this Royal Rumble. This is the most I've been excited in a very long time. Royal Rumble's good when you don't know who the winner's going to be. I mean, every once in a while, right? We know that Rhea Ripley's going to win, right? We know Cody Rhodes going to win.
Yeah.
But this is one of the most unpredictable Royal Rumbles. A Rock could have won. I mean, there were rumors maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin might come back. Punk might win. We didn't know who was going to win, but I got to tell you, it was in the cards. Once I saw that there was only 4 matches on the pay-per-view, the premium live event, I was like, oh, something's wrong here.
So Io says, "What's up?"
Hey, yo. There we go.
Yeah. Definitely, I was the most hyped for the men's Rumble because I feel like with the women's, I think Bayley was a clear-cut winner, but with the men's, there were so many options. Cody, Punk, maybe even Gunter. So it was really hyped, and I just felt like overall this pay-per-view was just all over the place. But let's get things off talking about the men's Rumble.
Okay.
So number 1 and 2 were the Usos. Jay went out there first, and then Jimmy. And Jay looked really surprised, that Jimmy was out there. I think once Jay came out, it was kind of obvious Jimmy was going to be number 2. I honestly feel like this is setting up the WrestleMania match, brother versus brother. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was a very nice touch that Jimmy and Jay started off the Royal Rumble, but as far as them building toward WrestleMania, I'll say this about both WrestleMania matches. I felt like other than the actual winner, they didn't do a good job of really building some stuff, because can you name, other than the fact that they started off the Rumble, what else did they build? You would think that maybe Jay would be responsible for eliminating Jimmy, but that didn't actually happen.
Nope.
Jimmy didn't eliminate Jay, nor did he Jimmy didn't get pissed off and come back and cause the elimination, even though he was already eliminated, of Jay. It's a lot of stuff you think would happen. It just didn't happen here. I thought there'd be a lot more with R-Truth and the Judgment Day in here. It didn't happen. So there was a lot. It was a lot of, because the Rumble is the best place. It's the road to WrestleMania, right? So it's the best time to build feuds going into Mania, because you have the best chance. But here, it was just a lot of confusing eliminations. I'm like, a lot of eliminations. I was like, really? By that person? That easy? I was kind of, yeah.
So let's actually talk about that. So
okay.
So according to my notes, Gunter actually eliminated Jay, and Braun Breaker, and Jimmy got eliminated by Braun Breaker. Who also eliminated Finn Balor. And I do agree with you. I mean, if you're going to build to brother versus brother, it should have started here tonight. Yes, they opened the Rumble match, but like you said, Jay should have eliminated Jimmy, or Jimmy should have eliminated Jay. Like maybe there could have been a moment in the match where Jay is almost going to eliminate Jimmy, but he kind of hesitates and stuff, and then but Jimmy has no hesitation in eliminating him, or Jimmy should have been at fault for eliminating Jay. But we didn't get that.
There was a little bit of a story arc on SmackDown. Paul Heyman, he had a talk with Jimmy, and he said, hey, the Tribal Chief wants you to win the Royal Rumble and he wants you to go on to challenge Seth Rollins. And I felt like they didn't really do a good job of Jimmy as far as what is needed of him, right? He needed to do this. They made it a point to have that segment on SmackDown to say it is really important for you to win this Rumble, and when you do, you need to go on to challenge Seth. And I thought they could do something with that, and it really didn't. It didn't really lead to a lot of stuff. I mean, I think they're trying to build a lot of stuff going to Elimination Chamber. So I think they're gonna do Jay versus Gunther at the Elimination Chamber, and most likely Jimmy will be the one to screw Jay out of the match, and that will be the reason for them going into Mania.
Yeah, you know, where I don't know if you've seen photos of where the Elimination Chamber is being held at, but it's a stadium, so they're gonna need to pack that chamber, that show, in order to sell that out. Are you gonna stay up for Elimination Chamber, or are you gonna catch the replay?
Is it staying up? Isn't it gonna be early in the morning? Right?
No, it's like at 2 a.m.
Is that 2 a.m.? Oh my gosh. Well, no, I'm not gonna. Well, the Royal Rumble really let me down. I don't know if I'm gonna. Is it on Saturday? Is it at least on Saturday?
I think so. I believe it's on Saturday.
It's gonna be tough. I mean, I have church on Sunday morning, so I don't think I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it probably most likely on Sunday. But
I'll catch the replay.
I'll catch the replay too.
I'm not paying $11.99 for Peacock to not watch the pay-per-views whenever I want. All right, number 4, Tranquilo.
Hey, he's back.
No surprise there. I mean, it was rumored that he was going to go back to WWE after finishing up with AEW. Glad to see him back. I really enjoyed the one between him and Santos Escobar. Like, Santos, when he came out, he was like, shit, he wanted to meet Andrade. He gave him a hug, and he's like doing tranquilo. And Andrade's just looking at him like, what the fuck?
I gotta tell you, I miss his old theme music. Yeah, that old theme music he had was a banger. Yeah, I really, because I remember if I remember correctly, the Royal Rumble when Shinsuke Nakamura won, Andrade made his first appearance in the Rumble as NXT champion with that music, and everyone lost their minds. And I don't think Andrade got as big as a pop as I thought he would, because I think people got confused because he came in with a mask. So I think people were confused more than anything. And he didn't come out with his original music. So yeah, that happened a lot during the Rumble. A lot of people not getting as big as a pop as I thought. Jordan Grayson get as big of a pop. I thought she would.
But people were chanting TNA.
They were, yeah. We'll get to that later on. But it's a lot of people not getting as big as a pop as I thought they would. But yeah.
So, but I'm happy to see Andrade back. I think he's gonna go to SmackDown. I think he's gonna get inserted into the LWO storyline.
I think so too. It's where Charlotte is. Makes sense. They usually like to keep couples together on their respective brands. Andrade was another person. Who did he get eliminated by? Because I remember he got eliminated.
Bronson Reed.
I was like, yeah, really, that person? Unless he feuds with Bronson Reed on Raw, which I don't know. I mean, Charlotte, she's down with is a ACL tear, I think.
Yeah,
she's gonna be out for a long time. Yeah.
She's gonna be out.
It's a possibility. Maybe he might just be utilized on Raw, and if they are going to do the draft every single year, they could just be like, okay, well, we need you to go on Raw. We need that type of star power, and then we're going to have the draft after Mania. Charlotte will be back by that time, and then we'll move you to SmackDown. Unless he's what they call a free agent. They're doing that, right?
We don't need that. We don't need that.
Yeah.
So, interesting note, Cody. Kofi didn't do any of his crazy saves.
Nope.
He just got straight eliminated by Gunther.
A lot of that.
Yeah. Now, Braun Breaker was an interesting choice. I feel like Braun Breaker was Brock Lesnar was supposed to be in Braun Breaker's spot, especially because he had spots with Gunther. So that leads me to believe that Lesnar was supposed to originally be in that spot, but because of what happened, and we're not going to get into details, Braun Breaker took that spot. Yeah,
I read a lot of reports saying that Lesnar was supposed to be in the Rumble. He's supposed to build his feud into WrestleMania, and then once again, we're not going to get into details. He, as far as they know, he did not make the trip over there. We know why, and I heard that as a last minute replacement, they called in an NXT guy. I mean, I read several reports saying they called in an NXT person, and it seemed like Braun Breaker was the guy. Because a lot of the stuff he did reminded me of Lesnar. He did a lot of multiple eliminations straight off the bat. He was very dominating. He had an interaction with Gunther, which I'm pretty sure, they love doing that with Lesnar and Gunther. And yeah. And I don't watch a lot of NXT because he was a heel in NXT. I don't know if they're building him as a babyface because it felt like a babyface Braun Breaker. It didn't feel like a heel at all.
Well, him and Baron Corbin entered the Dusty Tag Team Classic.
Yeah.
But yeah. Was it just me or did Jey Uso clap when Braun Breaker eliminated Jimmy?
Oh yeah, I think so. Okay, to their credit, and there's one in the women's match. We'll get to that later on, but they did something in both matches. So Jimmy had this funny recurring thing that in the entire match, he kept on trying to like high five people and he kept trying to make friends, and they all would just turn on him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
So R-Truth comes in at number 24.
I thought they would forget because we'll talk about later in the women's one because spoiler. I mean, I assume you guys all watched. That's why you're.
We all watched. Everybody who's listening watched it. So
well, R-Truth was in the other Rumble, and then when the number he came out in the other Rumble, I'm like, well, he should come out in this Rumble in the same number, and he did. So fair enough. I really enjoyed it. What he did, I wanted him to interact more with the Judgment Day, but his traditional. I come out in the Rumble, and I think it's actually another match. It was pretty good. It was pretty funny. The hot tag from Dominic to R-Truth was pretty good.
I was dying because like Dominic.
It's good.
He tagged him in. He was like, because he thought it was a tag match. I was like, oh my god.
By the way, big props to him. Came back from I think a knee injury or an ACL tear at 48 years old. He should not be this good. My goodness, R-Truth, good for him.
Definitely. Alrighty. Number 26 was an interesting choice. Damian Priest. I don't know why he was in this match. I mean, he's Money in the Bank winner. He doesn't need to be in this match.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. And it's like previous Rumbles where someone who's in the World Championship match and then they also appear in the Rumble. It doesn't make sense at all because what if you win the title? Would you have been in the Rumble? It doesn't make any sense. The commentators couldn't even plug the fact and go like, oh, well, if Damian Priest wins, he can challenge one of the champions and then use the Money in the Bank to cash in on the other champion and then become the triple-double undisputed champion and all this other stuff. I text you. I made that joke where he wins the Rumble, he challenges Roman, and then after he beats Roman, he cashes in on himself. Which
you did.
But yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But
I think you're echoing.
Am I echoing?
Yeah, I think so. Because like sometimes when I talk, I can hear. It's okay. So, CM Punk came out at number 27, which I thought was interesting because I kind of thought he would come out at number 30. So when he came out at number 27, I was like, oh, somebody else is coming out at number 30.
Here comes The Rock.
I think you did say that.
I actually said, oh, here comes Vince, which I actually thought was a joke, but bear in mind, it still could have happened. I mean, WWE.
I don't think that would have been,
Bear in mind, when this guy got accused last year, this guy strut himself out to Raw and SmackDown for a couple of weeks. So, oh well.
So, number 30 ended up being Sami Zayn. I kind of thought, I was like, okay, if Punk is 27, it has to be like a massive surprise. I kind of thought Big E was going to be the surprise. I was like, if not, The Rock. But I was leaning towards more Big E. And it ended up being Sami Zayn.
That was a really risky move. I felt like they either wanted someone for 30. 30 actually could have been Lesnar's number too. I felt like they had someone for 30. They couldn't get the person they wanted. And then they're like, okay, well, who can we put out there that the fans won't hate? Who can we put out there who won't get booed out of the building when Rey Mysterio came out that one time as number 30 and got booed out of the building? So everyone liked Sami. But, I'm not mad about it. I was just expecting something more. You might as well just put Punk in number 30. I don't get it.
Right? I thought they were going to do that. You should have put Sami at 27.
Because then Cody, he entered at number 30 last year, Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so might as well just give it to Punk. I mean.
And Cody entered at 15.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Small, small bit of it. Thought it might have been MJF or Okada. But after seeing what they did with Shinsuke, I'm like, why would Okada come to WWE?
I would just say, seeing Okada wrestle live and in person was so surreal because I was like this close to him. Like I got a nice shot of him posing on the ring apron. And then meeting him after the show was just so surreal. Like he's so nice. All right. And so the final four ended up being CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Gunther, and Drew McIntyre. I thought that was to be expected. I wasn't surprised by that. Punk, I like the fact that Punk eliminated Drew McIntyre and Cody eliminated Gunther. It wasn't just Punk eliminating both Gunther and McIntyre. They each took turns. It's kind of funny, though, because when there's a final four, Gunther went after Cody, McIntyre went after Punk. So that was interesting. And then the final two ended up being Cody and Punk. What were your thoughts on the final four?
I thought it was weird because I think I put it in my notes. These were all Raw guys.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, the winner can choose either champion. But yeah, these were all Raw guys. I thought the final two were a good pick because I don't like a Rumble where it's like it's pretty obvious that Rhea Ripley's gonna beat Liv Morgan last year. You know what I mean? It's like there's no chance that Liv Morgan's gonna win. So here I was like, oh, either one could win. And is it me? It sounded like CM Punk was getting booed.
I feel like the crowd was split.
Yeah. And he was kind of acting a little bit more heelish. He's not this guy who's going like, well, I didn't finish my story. He was kind of like, oh, Dusty, I'm not letting Dusty's kid beat me, this and that, this and that. To a point where I'm like, what he's doing seems a little bit too far sided on the heel side. I'm expecting Cody to win. There was a point because I told you I thought Punk was going to win.
Me too.
I know somewhere during the match when Punk was acting a little bit too heelish, I'm like, I don't think a guy would act this much of a bad guy and still win. So I'm like, I kind of flip flop from that point on. I'm like, Cody's going to win because Punk is acting too heelish to win. Cody's going to pull this off.
Not to mention he pointed at the sign too.
That is true. And they were promoting way too much that it's been a long time since someone has won back-to-back winners.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't do that in the past, but here they're like really pushing the fact that Cody could potentially win back-to-back.
So Cody Rhodes was victorious, and it was going to go either way. It was either going to be Cody or Punk. To me personally, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like CM Punk should have won, and this is why. It's 10 years to the day after he walked out, which commentary made note of. And I feel like Cody's story, him losing, it fit his story much more because he lost. He's disappointed that he's not going to go to WrestleMania. So then he pleads to Adam Pearce, or he shows up to SmackDown and pleads to Nick Aldis to send him over to, let him participate in the Elimination Chamber because it's his final shot to get to WrestleMania. I just feel like him losing fit the story a little bit more, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think they really wanted to go with the easy route because then if Cody doesn't win, I think they did that for a variety of reasons. Number one, split decision by the fans. People who are really passionate about Cody finishing the story. If he does not win, there's a small chance he might turn on Punk. Because at the end of the day, because both guys come from AEW, but at the end of the day, Punk, I mean, he did kind of walk out on the company, and then Punk did get in trouble in the other promotion. I don't work for WWE. I can say it. He worked for AEW, and how they feel about a guy who basically got in trouble at AEW and then now is coming in, and I was kind of shocked in a bit, but I do think a Punk is going to get into Mania one way or another because there's no way that this guy is coming back to WWE and is not getting a main event spot in WrestleMania.
So I think now it's pretty obvious that CM Punk is going to enter and win the Elimination Chamber.
I think so, yeah.
All right, so the Royal Rumble kicked off with the Women's Royal Rumble.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before you move on, I do want to point out one spot in the Royal Rumble that I hated the most. It was such a bad moment, probably the worst moment in Royal Rumble, the whole show. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What?
It was the surprise entrant number 22 of Pat McAfee.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, first and foremost, I'm not a big fan of commentators participating in the Royal Rumble. Maybe I have a little soft spot for Wade Barrett. Okay, Wade Barrett wants to get in there. That's fine because I'm a huge fan of Wade Barrett's. But other than that, I am especially not a huge fan when commentators get in there and they don't do anything and it's a wasted Rumble spot. All right. There are tons of people who want to be in the Rumble, couldn't do it. In fact, I was very surprised that Chad Gable was not in the Royal Rumble. Otis too. In fact, no members of Alpha Academy except for Maxine Dupree, we're going to talk about her later, was in the Royal Rumble. And you got Pat McAfee. And I was already kind of annoyed that he was back. Why did they keep inviting him back for the Royal Rumble? Okay. I'm not trying to be very negative, but I'm not a big fan of his style of commentating. He keeps coming back. He was here last year. He's here this year. And then he gets into the Royal Rumble. He gets in there. He gets out. He gets in there. I'm like, dude, hurry up and eliminate yourself. If you're going to do something, because he's actually a pretty good in-ring performer. If you're going to do something, participate. All right. But he just eliminated himself. What a waste of a freaking number. It took up so much time. It was so bad. It was so bad. And I absolutely hate it. I'm sorry. And hate's a strong word, but that Pat McAfee spot was so absolutely stupid.
Yeah, I dislike that too. I felt like that was such a waste of a spot, and he eliminated himself. Yeah, you could have given that spot to Chad Gable or to Otis or somebody else. But that was such a waste.
It started to get on cringe territory. Like, he's not a good actor as well. His stuff is over the top. It's like, dude, just hurry up. Gets in, gets out. I'm like, dude, you're not funny. Just hurry up and get out. Can you at least take a chop from Gunther? I mean, come on. Vince McMahon, this guy who's currently being accused of several heinous crimes, beat you at WrestleMania, okay? You can take a chop from freaking Gunther.
Yeah. All right. So the Women's Royal Rumble kicked off the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And Natty and the returning Naomi
started
the match. Yay! And Bayley came in at number 3. So what I want to talk about is number 5, the TNA Knockouts champion, Jordynne Grace. Yeah. Now, I have to say, I really like the fact that commentary mentioned Naomi, also about to call her Trinity's reign as Knockouts champion. Now, they just mentioned that Jordynne Grace beat Trinity. What they didn't mention was that Jordynne Grace actually beat Trinity twice. And that was there for both times.
Hey.
So let me give you a little bit of background for those of you who don't know. Back last year, Jordynne Grace won the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, which is kind of like a rumble of 20 participants, and whoever wins gets to challenge for an opportunity at a title that they want. So she won Bound for Glory last year, and she caught her shot at Hard to Kill, which happened like on the 13th. And she was going to face the winner of Deonna Purrazzo versus Trinity for the Knockouts title. Trinity ended up winning. So Jordynne Grace actually defeated Trinity at Hard to Kill for the Knockouts title, which I have the video of on my YouTube channel if anybody wants to check it out. And then this past week, she actually defeated Trinity again in her rematch for the Knockouts title. She beat her twice. So this is the third time they've actually encountered each other in 3 back to consecutive weeks. So I really like that. I wish they would talk about it a little bit more, but I understand why they did it. Now, I kind of thought that Naomi would be the one to eliminate Jordynne Grace in this situation, but she didn't, because again, they have history here. It didn't go that way. So I was a little surprised by that.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, okay. I apologize to the fans watching right now. I don't watch TNA. I don't. So this is a lot of like, I know who Jordynne Grace is. I do. And I know that Naomi was there. I have to call her Naomi because obviously WWE didn't want to recognize her as Trinity. So I know a little bit of what was going on. I do like the participation, the working relationship they had with TNA. It's great exposure for them. Why would they not do it? It makes sense. There was that couple of years back when it was Mickie James, but she was a former WWE superstar. So I didn't think it was that big. But now you have Jordan Grace, who's never, as far as I know, never been in WWE, unless she was a jobber or something. But it's great. It's this is the forbidden door is open, so that's great. So maybe they could do a crossover event. Maybe they want to bring back Invasion. If they think that the main roster is too good for TNA, then maybe they could possibly do an NXT and TNA type Worlds Collide thing. So
I wonder if this means that we will finally get AJ Styles in TNA. AJ Styles has yet to show up in TNA. He showed up at Slammiversary, but he showed up through a video package. So I wonder if we're finally going to get him in person.
yeah, I totally agree. You know, with Vince McMahon, I hope he's out. All right. Triple H actually seems like a guy who's a little bit more open to do business with outside companies. So let's hope, fingers crossed, they can do a TNA and WWE type crossover event.
We'll see if that happens, you know? We will see. But for right now, we can only speculate or hope.
Sure.
All right. So, you know, I feel bad for Candice and Indy. Like, Indy was the first person eliminated, and Candice LeRae didn't last that long either. Like, she got double teamed or eliminated by Damage Control.
Yeah, but you know, they need jobbers in the Rumble.
That's true. Not everyone's going to win, so. Tegan Knox eliminating Natty herself.
Boring. I'm sorry.
One spot that I did like involved Jordan Grace and Ivan Out. They showed off their strength by suplexing. I believe it was Katana Chance and Candice LeRae.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that.
That's good. Yeah.
All right. So Damage Control. Okay. They get eliminated. First, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter eliminated Asuka. Was Kari's elimination a botch? Or was she supposed to get eliminated? Because she held on. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I saw clearly. I think one of her foot touched the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And then she had her knees on the floor. But then she let go. So was that a botch?
I have no idea what they're going for, because I was looking at it and I'm like, how is she going to get out of this? Because it's like the position that she was on, I just don't know how she would get back in the ring, even if by chance Asuka and Bayley came over and grabbed both her hands. It just, I don't know what happened here. I don't know whether that was supposed to happen or whatnot. We mentioned in the men's Royal Rumble, I thought there would be more builds and stuff. I really feel like there wasn't enough from the ongoing storyline with Damage Control and Bayley. I thought they would do more with it.
Yeah.
You know, I did not think Asuka and Kari would be in there, but when I did see her, I'm like, oh, they're going to do something with this whole Damage Control thing. And Bayley, there might be some spots where Bayley needs help and they're not going to help her. Or it did seem a majority like Bayley was trying to save them from elimination, but I really feel like they didn't do much with that storyline here.
Yeah, I agree. Now, this is where I really like the fact that Jordan Grace and Bianca Belair went at it. Bianca Belair eliminated Jordan Grace on the ring apron by hitting her with the KOD. So I thought that was interesting, especially if they don't follow up to that. Like, if Jordan Grace doesn't return, it's like, you did that spot and it's not leading to anything. It should have been Naomi. It should have been Trinity / Naomi that eliminated Jordan Grace. I felt like it would have made more sense because, like I said, Jordan Grace beat her twice. And she took the Knockouts title off of her and then successfully defended against her. So I just thought it would be Naomi. But you know what? That was really cool that they did go at it. And I'm hoping that maybe there'll be a little bit of a follow-up.
I hope so too.
An interesting fact, Naomi, Trinity has yet to get written off of TNA. I think they filmed her departure this past week when they were in Florida, but it has yet to air. So
oh my gosh,
she's going to appear.
She got murdered, didn't she?
Huh?
She got murdered, didn't she?
Okay, one time. They killed off Eric Young. One time. It doesn't mean they're going to kill off Trinity. Okay, when they wrote off Taya Valkyrie, she got put in a coffin and got sent to the undead realm. Chelsea Green just said she was going to go home when they wrote her off.
By the way, Eric Young is back in TNA. So did they ever explain like how is he alive or?
Yes, they did. They
Yeah.
did explain it. It's
Okay.
kind of yeah, they did explain it. At
Fair
least
enough.
we got an explanation.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
I appreciate that very much because you know a little explanation goes a long way. All right. So number 15, Piper Niven's, and I really like the fact that she caught Chelsea Green as she got tossed out, which I thought was really funny. And then like she pretended she was gonna drop her, but she placed her on the steel steps.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of the Royal Rumble where I think was it Team Hell No, and where Daniel Bryan kind of fell into Kane's arms, but Kane actually let him go that time. So yeah.
Xia Li, I mean, this is her first appearance in who knows how long.
Oh
She
my
kind of
goodness.
disappeared.
Jeez.
So
I don't know. They had an ongoing storyline where she would give people the Aleister Black mass and then give like people like knockouts and stuff. And then for no reason, she kind of went to NXT. I know you don't watch, but she went to NXT. She challenged the women's champion, Lyra Valkyria. She lost, and then she kind of just vanished. They don't they don't know what to do with her, and I'm not trying to sound mean because I'm not a big supporter of saying these people should not have jobs or whatnot. But I'm actually quite surprised that she was not released because they're not doing anything with her. What can they do with her? Maybe her contract's just really cheap. They're just like, yeah, we'll keep her. It's just they don't know what to do with her. Really, I don't know what can they do with her.
I don't know. I mean, she had that big thing with Becky Lynch, and that really didn't lead anywhere.
What I mean, what are they gonna do with her? They had that comic book thing where she's like some type of defender or superhero or something, and then I don't know what she is now. I don't know. I don't know whether someone watched Mortal Kombat and just say, okay, yeah, she'll be one of the women's ninjas, sure, whatever.
Oh my god. All right, let's talk. Selena Vega came out with a cool cosplay. Who was it? Because I didn't know who it
It
was.
looked very familiar. I didn't know who it was, but that looked very familiar, and I looked it up because you can find anything on Twitter now called X, right? And all I did was type in Zelina Vega, and someone said that she was dressed as a Gundam Seed, and someone mentioned that a movie with Gundam just came out, so it kind of explains it because I'm like, that's some type of thing. That's like robot.
Not an anime fan, so
I don't watch. Yeah, I don't watch anymore. So everyone's guess is as good as mine.
So we gotta talk about Maxine because you actually pointed to my
Oh my
attention
gosh.
that Michael Cole said that she improved, but then you said she botched the Hurricanrana.
Oh my gosh. Once again, okay, I'm not this is gonna sound incredibly negative and incredibly harsh, and I apologize, So Maxine Dupree, if you're watching this YouTube video right now, which I don't think you are, but I will say this: some people, bless her heart, they're just better off as managers because she's trying, and it's just really not happening for her. All right, she had a disastrous match with Rhea Ripley. Do you remember seeing that match on Raw? Filled with botches up the wazoo. She comes in here because they did a YouTube video where they did some type of web exclusive where she was training with Alpha Academy for the Royal Rumble, right? So I'm pretty sure Michael Cole was fed the lines. She comes out here, right? And she looks like a very nice person, all right? I've seen her in YouTube videos. She seems very nice. She comes down here. Michael Cole plugs the fact. She goes like, yeah, she's really improved. She's really improved. The first move she does is a Hurricanrana, botches it. It looks so bad, botches it. They try to do it again. I mean, bless Bayley, but there's very little that people can do. She tries to do a Hurricanrana again with Bayley. Bayley could barely get the move through. And I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, someone needs to look at this and basically says, number one, she should stick to being a manager. Or number two, we gotta send her back to the PC. All right, she's really need to get her reps in because, dude, it's her in-ring ability is not that good. I'm sorry.
I like Maxine, and I'm sure with a lot of more training and a lot more work, she'll get better.
I'm sure she needs to get some advice from her K-Fab brother, LA Knight, and her K-Fab, what I assume is cousin, Renee Dupree. So good luck to her.
Okay. So when Nia Jax enters, she and Piper Niven have this spot where poor Chelsea Green is just like getting pancaked over here, and then I thought she got eliminated, but really she just went to the outside.
But hey, at least they didn't botch her theme music this year. Hey,
Yeah.
Nia Jax, hey! They should have just botched it anyway. And when are they gonna bring back My Hole? I'm just saying, it's funny.
I'm
No?
really happy Chelsea Green lasted more than 5 seconds in this year's Royal Rumble.
I know, that's pretty good. And do you know what? Just like the men's Royal Rumble, Chelsea Green had this recurring thing where she kept on getting like accidentally like hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bless her. Chelsea Green is so good. And I know that she's when she was actually released the last time before she got rehired, I know that she's been taking some acting classes. And for you nerds out there, she was actually playing she was that TV show on the CW, Supergirl. She was actually the stunt double of the main star who was Supergirl.
I
So
don't watch
she
Supergirl.
yeah, I don't. I stopped watching it. But for any of you who did watch Supergirl, Chelsea Green was actually the stunt double in some of the episodes for her. So I know she's been taking acting classes. I know that she's been trying to improve, and it actually shows. She's doing really, really good. They've kind of dubbed down on her Karen character, but anything she does, it's like it's almost close to one of my favorite, sadly released characters of the Iconics. She's just really
Iconic.
funny. There you go. And I just tune in just to see what Chelsea will do. Like Chelsea is seriously growing on me. A future women's champion. She has everything it takes. She's got the look. She's got the in-ring ability. She's got the promo skills. Like she's got the comedy down. She can act. So no doubt in my mind, I'm calling it right now. You'll see Chelsea Green as women's champion within the next couple of years. I'm
I
sure.
like Chelsea Green, and you don't watch Impact, so you miss her whole Impact run when she came back. Like she actually won the Knockouts tag team titles alongside Deonna Purrazzo and Vex. So she became the third woman to win the tag titles behind the Iconics, who went on to become the Inspiration and then Zelina Vega. So you missed her whole run. I think you would have liked her in Impact.
As Laurel Van Ness, the mess, right? The mess, Laurel Van Ness.
That was her first run. When she came back after she got released, she was Chelsea Green.
And I she didn't do it in this match, but I've been seeing in her matches, she has been doing Zack Ryder's Rough Rider, her little leg lariat, a lot
That's
more
her
often.
husband.
So hey,
That's her husband.
that is her husband. Hopefully he comes back. But I've seen him do interviews. Zack Ryder said he is not going to return to the WWE unless he can go by Matt Cardona or they pay him an ish load of money. So either give him a lot of money or let him come back as Matt Cardona. So we'll see.
So Becky Lynch comes in at 21 and eliminates poor Chelsea Green.
There's because they hype so much with Becky Lynch, right? Because we've been talking about there were a lot of like random type of eliminations, and Becky Lynch was eliminated really a lot earlier than I thought. I thought she'd at least make Final Four, right? Because they hyped her up so much. I thought she would make Final Four. She got eliminated. Who'd she get eliminated by? I think it was also another kind of like
Naomi.
Naomi. See, that's another thing. I'm like some of these eliminations. So yeah. That should go further.
So let's talk about 24 Valhalla. R-Truth comes out behind Valhalla, and he's kind of like, where's the guys? And he gets tossed out by Nia, and everybody is kind of booing. If you caught that, everybody booed this because I don't think some people appreciated. Some people were like, why are you doing this? I think it was interesting that it was Nia Jax. If you remember way back then, Nia Jax actually stole R-Truth's spot in the Royal Rumble. She tossed him into the little light thing, and she stole his spot to enter the men's Rumble. So I thought it was interesting that it was Nia Jax that eliminated him. However, I feel like they could have done this spot a little differently. You get me? They didn't have to do Valhalla like that. Like they could have done a spot where, let's say he comes out, he takes instead of having Valhalla go out there first, you have R-Truth come out because he thinks it's the men's Royal Rumble. And then you have Nia Jax eliminated him, and then you have Valhalla come out. You get me? I think that they should have done it that way. But, what did you think of this spot?
I thought if it wasn't R-Truth, then I can't get on board with this. I didn't like it, but
Yeah.
I also didn't hate it. I can see where you're coming from. There was a year when Santino Morales' twin sister.
Santina.
Oh, geez. See, that one I didn't like. I personally didn't like because I thought
Yeah.
that was stupid. But
Yeah. I didn't
R-Truth
like that one.
thing, it's. I mean, it's hard to hate R-Truth.
Yeah.
And to be completely honest, I mean, once again, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's Valhalla. If it was someone more credible or someone who's a lot more predominant in WWE, then I take issue with it. But someone like Valhalla, like what's she doing now? You know? So I didn't
She
mind it too
lasted.
much. Yeah.
She only lasted 5 seconds, so she's tied with Chelsea Green for shortest.
There you go.
For shortest in a Rumble.
And that will lead to their feud into WrestleMania.
So number 27, Roxanne Perez. Great showing by Roxanne. Like they call her the prodigy for a reason. What you think of Roxanne?
I think that she's very talented. She's very young. They obviously they have big plans for her, I'm sure. So they want as much exposure as they can. NXT's got a pay-per-view coming up, I think, Vengeance Day. So I think
Which
they
I
want
have to watch.
You have to watch, really.
Yeah, I have to watch
Okay, good
Vengeance
luck.
Day.
I don't even know if I'm gonna watch it. But anyways, and yeah, they
Oh,
probably just gotta
Michael,
put
you
eyes
have
on the
to
price.
watch. You have to watch to help me with my review if I watch.
All right, I'll see what I can do. Honestly, I
Okay.
barely watch NXT now. Like it's background noise.
Really? That's a
I'm
price.
so I'm so out of it with the product. The mere fact that it's no longer NXT 2.0, that Vince is no longer in a way overseeing NXT, and I'm just very confused that Shawn Michaels is now running NXT and it's just still bad. I just really don't get it. I really don't get it. It just proves the differences between Shawn Michaels and Triple H on how on creative wise, because it's just the show's not good. The show's not good. I'm sorry. It's never gonna get back to black and gold standards.
No, it'll never go back to
No.
black and gold. That was the best era of NXT.
That was the best. Unless, I don't know, they would have to really bring in someone good. It'd be like Triple H running all the shows.
So number 28, the long-awaited debut of Jade Cargill finally here. I have to say, when all the women failed to eliminate Nia Jax, I was like, okay, something's up, and it's for a reason because Jade Cargill eliminated Nia Jax. I mean, she picked her up twice.
She did. I mean, because okay, in the I think the very first Royal Rumble, right? I think Beth Phoenix did the exact same thing, and she looked like she had some trouble lifting Nia Jax. And Beth Phoenix, she's a strong woman, right? Jade Cargill lifted up Nia Jax like she was nothing, and I even think she did it one-handed too, right? She got in a fireman's carry, and then she even lifted her with one arm. And then she did the old Andre the Giant Cesaro spot where she scoop slammed her out of the ring.
Did you see Becky's face when she eliminated Nia? She was like,
I know. So
Becky's face made me laugh.
That was good. That was good. That was a good showing for her. I know that she's been training profusely at the PC, because that was one of the biggest things in AEW, right? A lot of people had an issue with Jade Cargill because she was a hired a homegrown talent. She was not in the indies. She was straight signed to AEW. She didn't have a lot of experience, and that was a lot of complaints. As TNT champion, a lot of people said, her matches are really not that good. She's not actually a good grappler, all of that stuff. Her promos is okay, right? But here, it really looks like she knew what she was doing. They planned the spots really, really well. So it's good. I'm excited. I wanted her to bring back her old theme, but I guess maybe they couldn't. They had to do like a remix because I don't know. Maybe AEW owns the original music, but yeah.
I have to say, Jade looked like a star.
She did. She looked really, really good. I'm very impressed. I was a huge fan of Jade Cargill in AEW. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. I like the stare down spot they did with Bianca Belair. So
it wasn't just a stare down. It was the fact that both women, like Bianca had Liv Morgan and Jade had Becky, and then that moment when they turn and they're both looking at each other and they finally meet, I really dug that.
That was good. That's good. Hopefully a future match between the two.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, this honestly could be the match WrestleMania 2025.
Yeah, I agree. But who goes in as champion, Jade or Bianca?
I'm not a big fan of repeat champions, which is odd because Cody repeated tonight. But I'm guessing maybe Bianca defending against Jade, and I'm thinking
Yeah.
Jade's going to win the Rumble next year.
Yeah, I think she is. She had a great showing here. It
Very
wouldn't
good,
surprise me if she does.
but still considered a free agent, so I don't know where
No,
she's
I thought
going.
she's going to Raw.
Is she going to Raw?
I think she's going to Raw.
Okay, guess she's going to Raw.
All right, so 29 was Tiffany Stratton. I don't know much about Tiffany Stratton because I don't watch NXT. Everybody on my YouTube channel knows I don't watch NXT, although I've been watching it for the last couple of weeks. I'll tell you about that later. Yeah, so I'm impressed with Tiffany. I like her character and stuff, and it made sense that she went after Becky because they had that feud for the NXT Women's title. See, I know a little bit about what happens in NXT.
Good. She did good, and I gotta tell you, she has greatly improved. She was never on the Indies. She's a homegrown talent of NXT. She's doing a lot better. Her promo game could be a little bit better, but other than that, I think they see a lot in Tiffany Stratton. And I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but she fits the build of exactly what they're looking for. She's in incredibly good shape. She's good looking. She's blonde. I don't know. I mean, if Vince was still here, she'd be champion in like what, 2 weeks? I'm sure.
So number 30 was Liv Morgan.
Did not see that one coming.
I was like, is there a possibility that maybe AJ Lee comes out at number 30? Small possibility. But it ended up being Liv Morgan.
I thought it was gonna be Sasha, but what do I know?
So I like when Tiffany eliminated Roxanne Perez. She's like, toodles. So that was funny. So the final three ended up being Bayley, Liv Morgan, and Jade Cargill.
Mm-hmm.
Bayley and Liv, double team Jade on the ring apron, and Liv ended up eliminating Jade, and then Bayley eliminated Liv Morgan, and Bayley won here. I think, in my honest opinion, I think Bayley deserved this. I think she's been doing a lot to put over everybody. She's worked really hard to get Damage Control over. I think it's her moment. I think we're going to get babyface Bayley again. I think that based on the story that they're telling, because if you notice, Rhea and Io Sky were watching backstage, I think Bayley is going to go after Io Sky.
If booked correctly, this could be a really good feud, but in my personal opinion, you had to give Damage Control has to give the mic to Dakota. Okay, they can't. I don't trust WWE to have Japanese talent run a promo unless you want it to be in all Japanese. I just don't think, because Bayley, she's very good on the mic, and for her to have a promo with Io, who doesn't speak English that well, I mean, she speaks okay, right? And Asuka and Kari, you gotta give the mic to Dakota to deliver the promos. I'm not trying to be mean and saying that they can't cut promos, but I'm just saying in this case, you have Bayley, who's very good with promos, talking to Io, and it's not going to end well. I don't trust WWE to do this. So once again, for this build, you got to give the mic to Dakota to talk for him. And I think that's the reason why they're kind of making it seem like Dakota is staying on Damage Control's side.
Yeah. So we'll get into our overall thoughts on the Rumbles respectively at the end.
Sure.
When we grade the whole pay-per-view. So next is the Fatal 4-Way WWE Undisputed Championship match. It was LA Knight. Yeah.
No.
Versus AJ Styles versus Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns. This match I felt could have been, I don't know, I just feel like it could have been a little bit more epic than what it was,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like Solo Sikoa getting involved was too predictable. There was no disqualification here. I did like the fact that Roman took all 4 finishers. He took a BFT, an RKO, a Styles Clash. So I really like that he took those finishers, but I just felt like it's the same old shtick with Roman Reigns here, and I'm getting kind of tired of it,
Yeah, I absolutely agree. When Solo got in there, I'm like, here we go again. Jeez. It gets to a point where I'm like, can you guys not think of anything else? I think that the last match I was actually legitimately impressed with Roman was actually WrestleMania a couple of years ago when he stacked both Edge and I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anyone, especially AEW, when he stacked Adam Copeland and Bryan Danielson and he pinned them. And he did that himself. He won that match himself. Yeah. And I was at the time, I wasn't even like on board with Roman at the time.
You didn't acknowledge Roman Reigns back then?
I did after that night, and I think a lot of people did, because when he stacked, I'm like, dude, this dude is a freaking badass. Okay. That was so cool. And that's the last time Roman actually impressed me. Okay. Now, almost every single match he's in, there's interference from the bloodline. And it's just, it makes him not seem like a credible champion. For a guy who's been champion for so long, he barely shows up. And this is what we're getting. You know, I mean, if last year he would have beaten Cody by himself, fair enough, right? But they had to go like, oh, Bloodline has to get involved. Almost every single match I can think of, Bloodline's getting involved. Bloodline's getting involved. And it's just really, it's getting very tiring. You know, it's I don't see why he couldn't just have won fairly here. So
I thought they were gonna go with them stacking because you saw Solo setting up LA Knight.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen here. Instead, he ended up pinning AJ Styles after he speared him. Although before we get into the rest of it, I really like that RKO spot that Randy Orton did to AJ Styles when he caught him on the rope.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really cool spot. But I was really surprised that Roman pinned AJ Styles. I kind of thought he was going to pin LA Knight. Yeah. Because, I mean, obviously he wasn't going to pin Randy Orton since Randy Orton just came back. And I kind of thought since AJ Styles just came back, he wasn't going to pin AJ, but he ended up pinning AJ.
I think at this moment, LA Knight, his momentum's so high that they really don't want to ruin that. So I think AJ can take a loss. AJ's the type of person where it's like, no matter what happens, they still love him. So fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I honestly, I can see why this match went on second. This match did not do it for me. Not at all. I was expecting something, especially from these four big names. I was expecting a really great match. I really was. And it just really let me down.
Yeah. I was excited. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, make me believe that Roman Reigns was going to, like, be in jeopardy of losing his title. But, you know, it was okay. But yeah, it could have been so much more.
I didn't think Roman was going to lose, but I thought we were going to get a banger of a match. Because that's the thing. It's like you get to a point where Roman, let's face it, he is not going to lose. But the most WWE can do for us is put on a great match. And I felt like we didn't get it here. So Roman won again. He won again with interference from the bloodline. And on top of that, the match was honestly not that good. So...
yeah. So finally, we get the U.S. title match. It's Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul. This isn't too bad of a match. You know, I knew that Logan Paul with Kevin Owens, I think, would have been pretty decent, and it was. Now, I don't know if you caught this. I caught it, and I even told you when Logan Paul did the buckshot lariat, and then the frog splash. Commentary called it the flipping clothesline, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, it's a buckshot lariat.
They should rename that. Think of something. I don't know what to call it. We'll call it the Prime Time. There you go, Prime Time, because this drink is called Prime, right? Prime Time. Prime clothesline.
Unless I missed something, it looked like Logan Paul was bleeding from his nose.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I missed a spot or something, but I don't know how that happened.
I don't know. I mean, I think there was a point where I think Kevin Owens might have flicked him in the face or something, but credit to him, the match was okay. I do believe, to his credit, Logan Paul is probably the best celebrity, transitional WWE superstar they've had. But this is another thing with kind of like the Roman Reigns match, when you have his, dumb friend from his stupid podcast continuously giving him the brass knucks, it gets old.
Yeah.
And that spot went on for too long.
Because
you're like, he is kayfabe, supposed to be a fan that's jumping the guardrail, right? The referee is supposed to have security escort this guy out. And this guy is like a small guy. It's not like he's like almost or a big guy and they're like, oh, maybe, security is having trouble escorting this guy out, right? He's a small guy, and it went on for way too long. And oh my goodness.
What they should have done, because they had that spot with Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Grayson Waller. Instead of having one of Logan Paul's entourage do it. Instead of doing that, it's just take that out completely, and you just have Grayson Waller and Austin Theory out there. It would have made much more sense because Kevin Owens sucker punched them, and they wanted to get back at him. So I think that would have made much more sense, and it would have been a lot better than doing that whole spot, which went on forever.
Yeah, that's true. We have someone in the comment section saying that the finish was great. I wasn't, and I respect the comment. I wasn't a big fan. In general, I'm not a big fan of DQ finishes, especially when the championship is on the line. And kayfabe wise, here's the thing: Kevin Owens was wearing the brass knucks. He got caught, right? But the ref didn't see him use it. So for the ref to call for the DQ is kind of ridiculous because you didn't see him use it. So why disqualify him?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Most of the times when they're doing DQ finishes, that means they're going to set up a rematch. I think you even mentioned it too. I think they're headed to a rematch at the Elimination Chamber, and it makes sense it's going to be no DQ match in that match.
Yeah, I think so too. It made the most based on that finish that he won by DQ. Yeah, and then he's put him through the announce table. He definitely something's not over. And I apologize for not reading the comments. My internet browser, my Chrome was not showing the comments until just right now. Io said, "We're pulling for you, Cody." He said, Rhea main events in Chamber, I bet. Yeah, because it's in Australia. It's 2 a.m. for you on the West. I think 6 a.m. in the East. I'm good. Oh, yeah, you're on the East Coast. So happy for Jordan. Yeah, I was too. Cole mentioned Naomi, former TNA champion. I did catch that. They can come to our pay-per-views, right? Yeah, you misspelled my name, but yes. I'm hoping we still get AJ Styles. She got a knee to the face from Giselle last Thursday. She did. She got kneed in the face. You were knocked out. It's okay. Chelsea was the star of the night. Chelsea exceeded expectations. Yes, Tiffany Stratton is a star. Roxanne too. Dakota with the special guest referee. Cody Rhodes winning was great. Happy let him finish the story. You thought the finish was great. I'm just trying to catch up on all these comments. I do apologize. I gotta let Io know that I read his comments. So. But so what did you think overall of the pay-per-view?
Overall, the pay-per-view, I gotta tell you, there was a lot of hype surrounding this event, and I was a little bit I was a little bit disappointed. I believe personally it didn't live up to the hype. Was it a terrible pay-per-view? No.
We've seen worse.
But yeah, no, trust me, I've seen worse. But is it an okay pay-per-view? It was an okay pay-per-view. If I were to give it a rating, maybe from about 1 to 5, I would fairly
8 out of 10. Okay.
Okay, here's the thing. I'd give it a 3 out of 5. I was originally gonna give it a 2 out of 5 for the mere reason that here's the thing. The people who we thought was gonna win did win. Now, if we totally got some out of the blue type winners, like the Sports Illustrated report, those were out of the blue type winners, right?
Yeah.
If it ended like that, if we would have seen Gunther, according to Sports Illustrated, which they retracted the article, win the men's Royal Rumble, then yeah, I would have given it a 2 out of 5. But other than that, I thought the pay-per-view was okay. 4 matches on a pay-per-view. I mean, come on, guys. And it was an okay pay-per-view.
I have to say, that's what I have to say. I was really excited for the men's. I was like, this is Punk's night. Between both Rumbles, the men's and the women's, I feel like the women started off really strong. And then the middle, they lost it in the middle. Then when Becky Lynch came out, things picked up again.
Yeah, I felt they got a little bit lazy on the creative, because I've heard, I mean, we hear backstage stories about how they actually do the Royal Rumble, and they literally just sit in a room and they literally just go like who's getting eliminated, and that wrestler just picks how they're gonna get eliminated. So I think there comes a time where people need to step in and just say, instead of giving up to the wrestlers to choose how they get eliminated, maybe you should have like the script writers or producers decide, because a lot of this was just like it wasn't as good as it could have been.
Io says the Diva Sons are going to be mad. No legends. Oh, we're good. Okay. Nia Jay Carter versus Nia Jax at Mania. I don't think that would be as good. And I wouldn't like that for her. Jade Cargill's debut match at WrestleMania.
What? They didn't do a women's battle royale last year, did they? They haven't done it in a long time. Maybe bring it back. That'd be something good for Jade Cargill to win. So
the men's Royal Rumble, I felt like the opening was a little predictable with Jimmy and Jay. I feel like Sami Zayn being number 30, like you have mentioned earlier, maybe it was somebody else, but they couldn't get that person. They just put Sami at 30. You know, like I said, there was so much hype surrounding the men's Rumble that it could have gone either way. I just feel like I still maintain that I feel like Cody losing would have done more for the story than him winning. That's just me. The 4-way, it could have been better. The U.S. title match, I wasn't a huge fan of that spot with Logan's friend and the entourage guy. Let me see. They should have made Sami number 1, so let's go number 2 and stuff. So I feel like this pay-per-view was just all over the place. It had its high moments and then it had its low moments, and somewhere in the middle, it wasn't too bad of a pay-per-view. Like I said, we've seen worse. We've seen worse. On a scale from a 1 to a Shawn Spears perfect 10.
I thought he was gonna show up, by the way, because his contract with AEW ended, and I'm like, okay, he's coming out as number 10, and then he just didn't.
Remember, that was his gimmick at number 10.
Yeah, I remember he used to come out at number 10, but I mean, his gorgeous wife Peyton Royce is pregnant again, so maybe he wants to just take some time off.
Yeah, so I'd give it a 7.5. It wasn't too bad, but it wasn't strong. I just thought it was all over the place.
I'll say this. There's going to be a Royal Rumble that gets forgotten. I mean, there'll be some stuff. You'll be like, hey, you remember when Jordan Grace was in the Rumble? And I guarantee people are going to be like, which Rumble was that? You want a Royal Rumble, like, hey, remember that great Royal Rumble? That was a great one, right? Remember all this stuff that happened, this and that. 4 matches in the pay-per-view. My goodness.
I know. If we're being 4 matches, you wouldn't think that would go as long, but it went pretty long.
Mm-hmm. I assume maybe Seth would have had a match on this pay-per-view. Maybe. I don't know.
I feel sorry for all the East Coasters. I don't know how they do it, how they stay up. It's like midnight when over there. So, alrighty. Well, Michael, where can people find you?
You guys can catch me right here on the handle at Michael Chow TV. You guys can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It has a lot of old videos, but I've been revamping my channel. I'm getting ready to relaunch again because I decided to stop for a little bit, take a little bit of mini vacation, and then come back strong with brand new equipment. And I hope I'm not echoing. You mentioned I was echoing earlier, but now I got all new professional stuff. I mean, all of this stuff. You guys look at old videos. None of this stuff was here. All of this setup, all of this stuff in the background. And I have a lot of stuff. So I'm relaunching very, very soon. I'm going to have a main channel, a wrestling channel, and a gaming channel as well. And hopefully, Datila, you can come on for one of my wrestling review.
Just as long as it's not NXT.
It'll be NXT, baby. We assume, if they open the forbidden door, hopefully they do a TNA / NXT invasion type event, and we can both review that stuff. But yeah,
we'll see. We'll cross that, but definitely, I'll definitely come on your show. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. You're coming back just in time for WrestleMania season.
That's true. I'm gonna try. I keep saying this. I am gonna try and relaunch my channel with my specific wrestling side of my channel by at least WrestleMania. I'm hoping I can do that by then.
Yeah, definitely. As for myself, you guys know where to find me on X or Twitter, whatever you call it these days, at Datila_. I talk Raw, SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, TNA Impact, Friday Night SmackDown, AEW Rampage, even though I don't review it anymore, and all the pay-per-views. So that's where you can find me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm currently on the road to 1,000, so help me get to 1,000 subscribers. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night or evening. And I'll see you guys Monday after Raw.
Hey, later, guys.
Oh, I should have had this ready.